What's up guys, Jivan back with another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you some build tricks that slay in solos. I'll be giving you new moves with creative drills that you can practice to help you get the moves down on a deeper level. This should help not only your fighting IQ, but also your mechanics. We're just going to be rapid firing through these different tricks, so we're going to start it off with this one. The main thing we're going to look at was that cone flip right at the end there. But starting right here, I'm going off to the side and I notice the top right wall is exposed, and if he edits there, then he's going to have a free shot on me. You got to make sure you block all your angles just like I did there. But the main thing we're going to look at is this cone flip technique. Whenever I'm going up against an enemy wall and I know they're there waiting for me, I flip the cone to block their shot. And in this situation, it blocked his shot and I was able to get the kill. This creative drill might help you understand this a bit more. Simply create a tunnel and then go back to the start. What you should practice doing is flipping cones up, placing a wall in front of you, editing out the side, and then resetting your cone as a peak. Anytime I go by an enemy wall, I always try to flip up a cone and set up this trap. A lot of times they'll try to piece control the cone, and when you reset it, you'll have a free shot. The next trick is one that I find super useful, and I haven't done it in a long time. That's why it's good to retouch on certain tricks that you forget about. I call this just the piece control from below move. To start out, you can see the enemy has the floor over me, so I have to make sure I place a ramp over my head. And then right here is the move. You edit your cone into a backwards ramp. Turn around and place a wall, and then edit a window in the wall and place a cone. From there, you may be able to piece control the enemy, or you can try to piece control one of their sides like I do here. I took damage, but only because it was a bad peek. To get this move down in creative, all you gotta do is that exact building move. You can do it like I do it here with the triple edit first, but then you just place a cone on top of your ramp, edit the cone up, place a wall, window in the wall, cone on top. After that, you can jump to the side and piece control there as well to get that extra step down. Next up, we're gonna get into some examples of frontside high walls, and if you're not using this in your gameplay already, like, this is the most useful move in the game at the moment, at least in my opinion. This is just the simple example of what it is. You know, I threw a bunch of walls super high up in front of me. That's a frontside high wall. Afterwards, I do some really protected piece control. Notice how I do it through a window and he can never see me the whole time. Let's check out a better example. You can see when I'm 90ing up here, I throw the high walls in at the very end, just up in front of me where the enemy is. By throwing those high walls up, I was able to get full piece on the player. Anytime the enemy is a few layers above you and you know where they are, just throw some high walls up in that direction, and a lot of times it'll lead to you getting free piece control. To practice this in creative, literally just free build around, and then at random points in your retakes, just throw high walls into position. I'm telling you, just get in the habit of doing this in fights and you will start winning way more often. I just put this retake into a previous video where I was showing you guys moves that I am trying to learn and apply to my own game. I've been working on this one a lot, and I'll just tell you, it is so good. It's been working like a charm. I knew I needed to learn this. The move that I'm talking about is the phase sway retake, where you swing walls and a ramp above you. After practicing a bunch, I've learned that the way I like to do it most is with the cone on top, just like you're seeing right here. You can practice this in creative just on repeat until you get comfortable with it. You place walls above you with a ramp above you and a cone on top. Then you flip the ramp, you go up the cone, and boom, retake complete. Here is literally the most perfect example on why it is good. So you can see right here, after I make the double edit, I'm completely exposed from above, but I simply swing those walls into position with a ramp above me and I'm perfectly protected. I place the cone on top, flip the ramp, and then place walls through the cone. At this point, if the enemy is on that layer, I have the wall piece control on him and I can edit through and pump him. It's the perfect retake if you don't already know it. This next build trick is one that you should always be ready to use. Right here, notice how I drag the cone while going around the corner. There's certain times in fights where you should just always drag cones. You can get piece control on people so often if you do this, or you can just completely screw up their movement. So to start out this fight, I hit him with a nice pre-fire and turn around to place a ramp over my head so he can't get that. When I go out the side here, I build walls up high, and as soon as I edit through this wall, notice how I drag the cone over to the side. I get him coned off and I get the wall between us, but I didn't have ammo in my gun. That little trick of dragging the cone is something that you should be doing almost every single time that you do a 180 in a fight. You can see that in this fight, it gives me full piece control on the opponent. So when I'm building up and I know he's building up as well, I just drag cones in his direction after editing through my wall, and it gives me the full piece control. If you want to get really comfortable with this cone dragging move, just do this combo in creative on repeat. You can simply do a 90 or do a 180, then build walls above you, edit through the wall, and drag cones. You always want to drag the cones in the direction of the enemy, but when you're practicing in creative, you can just drag it in any which way. Do this enough and it should become a habit in your playstyle. You can see in this build fight right away, I was getting coned and I was able to side jump around the cones very easily. Becoming this comfortable with side jumps is something that you need in your gameplay to escape awkward situations like that one. You You can see that when I turned around from this build move, I almost had no time to react. I had to instantly go for the side jump 2 times in a row, and it saved me from getting full pieced. The way I got comfortable at doing this was by simply doing a ton of side jumps in a row. As soon as I land, I place another cone over my head and go for another side jump. This is a really advanced movement technique, and it is really difficult to get down, especially if you're trying to land on top of the ramps like I'm doing here. But trust me, if you can get that down, it's going to help your movement in fights and your building so much. And then on top of that, you can just practice in your free builds doing random side jumps at random points. I notice a lot of people really just practice their editing and free builds and stuff, but I always try to throw in some complicated side jumps in there. The other form of side jumping that you should have down, it's actually a little bit easier, is this right here, where you simply jump to the side, place walls, and land on a ramp. That there is something that pros do all the time, and it can give you some sneaky piece control off to the side in build fights. To practice that, you can just do this simple build drill while you're warming up. Just practice jumping to the side while building walls and landing on a ramp. It's a simple technique, but it's really important to get down and comfortable with. We're gonna move away from the building drills and get a little bit more into IQ plays that you can use in arena or endgames. We're starting out with this one that I hit in Lucky's solo zone wars. You can see I'm tarping ahead and there's somebody diagonal above me. I tarp one box in front of him and place a cone and floor right in front of his box in the way that the zone is moving. The key to catching people off guard with this is doing it so fast that they don't have time to react. This was against a pro player and it caught him so off guard because of how quick I did it. In this fight, I used a little bit of a mind trick. I was a bit weak in the fight, and sometimes all you gotta do is act like you're scared and you can catch them off guard like I did there. You see, I simply tunneled away one box, placed a ramp over my head. I made him think I was on the run, but then I turned around and hit him with a quick shot. You just gotta make sure that that peak is optimally set up so you're not trading damage. This is another sneaky way to use the ramp phase trick where you can put ramps through somebody's box. To put the ramp through the box, you just walk up against their wall, place the ramp while crouching up and down and looking slightly down to the left. Once you get the ramp in, there should be a ramp behind you as well, so you can use that ramp behind you to phase jump in. They're gonna take a second to react to the fact that there's a new ramp in their box, and during that time where they're panicking, you can phase jump in and get right in their face. This is something that I've been practicing a lot recently. You guys probably know by now that I love doing the Marths Peak, where you edit the back tile of the floor, place a ramp above you, and then jump to take the peak. I've been practicing confirming edits through that peak on the wall. You can see in this fight, I let him walk in, I place the ramp and the wall above me all at once. Then I'm able to jump up, edit the wall, and then take the peak shot. This dude had no chance to react. I only hit him for like the weakest amount ever, but that was the right idea. I'm always looking for ways to improve my duo fighting and chemistry in fights, and this was just a great example of how to approach it. Look at how fast we took down this duo. It was literally seconds. So what I did is I saw Ken was pushing from one side. I saw an opportunity to drop on the guy's back wall, so we had him perfectly pinched between us. I take the back wall while he's still focused on Ken, jump in. I knew the other teammate was going to jump behind me, so I made it quick. By the time the teammate got there, we had the kill and we turned on the teammate at the same time together. Perfect duo chem in that fight. The last fight of the day is actually against a pro player. I'm always trying to study my fights against pro players to see either what I did right or what I did wrong. And I realized that in this fight, I just pushed so protectedly. Like, he didn't really have a chance to attack me. He did, but I did it so fast that he really didn't have much time to think. Let's take it back from the start. As soon as I see him pushing here, I know I have nothing in my box. So if I'm going to take a peek, I have to place a cone first, otherwise he's just gonna ramp me off. Sure enough, he was trying to ramp me, and by the time he noticed I had a cone, I had already hit a shot on him. I see him backing up, so I start to push. I go left to use the ramp as cover so he can't hit me, but I know he's going for a peek, so I jump over the ramp and take a quick shot. He actually almost caught me with the pre-fire here because I went for the wall with my pickaxe, but then I simply pressure him from behind a right-hand peek to finish the rest of the fight. I think I handled that pretty dang well. I hope you guys learned something new in this video. Feel free to come back to it to practice those drills. Don't forget to hit that like button, sub if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.